It is the Altcast on the Monumental Sports Network. Tonight, the Wizards host the San Antonio Spurs. But we've got not only a professional, but a three-time gold medal winner with us in studio for the first segment of our show tonight. We'll be watching the Wizards and the Spurs, but boy, this guy's got so many stories and is so impressive that we could go all night long talking to Trevon Jenifer, who is a local guy, grew up in La Plata, Maryland, but moved over to Calvert County. Yeah. And Trevon is in the studio with us tonight. He is a three-time Paralympian gold medal winner in wheelchair basketball. And there are other sports that he participated in as well, including wrestling against able-bodied kids. I say that because Trevon is born without any legs. And you are with us tonight. It's so good to see you, and we appreciate you coming in here. We got the chance to talk to you, and I've got Chris Wright here with us from Georgetown and Jimmy Patsos as well. Got a chance to talk to you beforehand. I watched a lot of your interviews before this. Man, we could sit here for hours and talk about your story.
Oh, most definitely. I think that this is an awesome opportunity. I mean, get together, talk basketball, just shoot the breeze.
Well, and your basketball is so different than these guys' basketball. Yeah. We talked about this before. I was learning from you, and as a former referee, all of the different nuances of wheelchair basketball, which I didn't know. Yeah. So, like, what's traveling and what's double dribble and how do you box out guys and are screens legal and things like that. But you've mastered this game and you've won 3 gold medals. What did it take to get there to do that?
Yeah, it's a lot of sacrifice. Like, I think that's the biggest thing that people don't really understand when you're going about it. Like, you're missing, like, birthdays, like, kids' first steps and all of this just to get to the opportunity to play. Like, nothing's guaranteed, right? Yeah. So understanding that all the hard work and stuff that you're putting into it, like, you're missing time with the fam, and you just got to know that, like, you're doing it, and what you're doing it for is bigger than yourself. Right. So, like, it's just awesome to be able to play
But you play the game that way. Like, the first thing I asked Trey was, what position? He said small forward. You kind of do the dirty work.
He said point, really. He said small forward point. That's what he did say.
But he didn't say I shoot and score all the time, which I liked. In other words, you're helping the rest. You're kind of a guy.
I'm the dirty man. Like, out there, I'm a grinder. You know what I'm saying? Like, understand, like, if I play on my local team when I'm in college, like, yeah, that's when I put up a bunch of points. Right. You know, playing Team USA, you got to understand, like, your role and what your role is and what that team needs in that moment. So in that moment, my team needs me to go out there and grind and get us the best looking shot. And it just so happened that, like, the ball comes to me and I make it happen. So, yeah.
So Team USA, you've been playing on Team USA how many years now?
So since, like, 09. So, yeah.
And you've seen the change. How's the game change over that time?
Yeah, so, like, the game used to be like, bigs, like, big centric. We want your big centers that are real tall. Right. And that's what every country did. And that was until about 2016, right? Mm-hmm. Where everybody was like, no, we want to go shorter, but we're going to go faster. We're going to press people. We're going to play high line defense, make everybody try to shoot. So when those bigs try to come in, they couldn't get in the paint. So now they're shooting 15, 16, 17 footers out of their game, wheelhouse. And now we're running fast break layups and getting all our buckets that way. Right. So, like, that's where our game kind of, like, started to change the way the world plays the game.
And funny, you won 3, but the first thing you said was we won the bronze. You didn't win your first.
Not the first one.
Who won that?
So the first one was Canada. Canada has, like, one of the greats. I mean, like, if I had to compare him, like, he's like Michael. Like, that's how, like, this guy in a wheelchair is just phenomenal. Like, just ruthless. And that's, like, our neighbors to the north, of course. Yeah, we want to make sure that we beat them, right?
Down in Great Britain.
We're the two big ones. So now Great Britain, they beat us in 2018 for World Championships, and that's something that lives in my mind, like, daily. So when I'm like, oh man, I can't get this rep up, I'm like, GB beat us.
And playing faster and smaller, like a la Warriors, that helped the United States team?
Oh, definitely. So now, like, you have to deal with my speed and then Jake shooting, just like Golden State, right? So now you're like, okay, if I press on Jake, now you got to worry about my cut. If I drop down into the paint, now Jake's shooting 3 balls. So, like, that's what makes our two-man game deadly.
How physical is it?
Oh, it gets physical. So like we're strapped in our chairs. This is my everyday. So in my ball chair, like, I'm strapped in, and, like, I get clipped, I fall, like, and they don't stop play unless you're, like, in danger of being hit or, like, hurt. Yeah, you would think it's a foul, but we don't always get the calls.
But I asked you earlier what it constitute a foul. Right. When you're dribbling the basketball, what constitutes, you said there's no double dribble, but there is traveling.
Right, you get 2 touches of the wheel before you have to dribble, pass, or shoot. But like if I dribble and I touch and I go 1, 2,
right,
I got to get ready to dribble, pass, or shoot. So like that's how like, and they'll get stringent with that.
And
too.
tell me about the setting picks and things like that. You said you can't do it with the front of the wheelchair. It's got to be
or back of the wheelchair. It's got to be the big wheel. So as long as my big wheel touches you like almost dead center,
right,
then we're good. I can stop you from moving. So and that's what's good about our defense is that I can be physical with my chair and not have to be like getting called for fouls. Which
and I mean, just because you have a disability or something, people are like, oh, they must everybody be nice. You first, there's like a dirty little side to this. You talked about. I was a dirty player. He was a grinder too, and he's a ref, so he didn't call anything.
I wasn't dirty. I call it technicals.
Like there are guys, are they grabbing your chair? Like I mean,
I mean, there's definitely little things that people get away with, especially like if you think about it.
That are just like when we play this team, like you
I'm not gonna put them out there. I'm not gonna put them out there, but they're out there. Yeah. So like if you can imagine, if we're here together, like there's times where guys are doing this, trying to get you off of it, or what they'll do is they'll bump the front of your chair as you're moving to try to make it look like, oh, I was just turning, and it's one of the things that frustrates you the worst as a quick player, because as a quick player, I want to be loose. I don't want to be touched. So as soon as they try to hit you with a foot plate, it's like,
let me see the gold medal here.
Oh, absolutely.
In terms of preparation for Olympics, how long do you guys have to prepare to get ready for Olympics? Like, you know, NBA guys, if they're going to Olympics, they get a month to prepare because of their schedules. What's it like in terms of the training regimen for you guys?
So like for us, the training regimen is like.
Are you in Colorado Springs too?
So that's where our home base is.
Okay,
but I train here. So we're spread out across the entire United States. The crazy thing about this is that, like, what people don't know is that, like, I have to try out every year. There's a major tournament every year.
Where's that?
And it's all over. Like, it'll change spots, just like Olympics and Paralympics and the qualifiers.
So you don't get an automatic spot. You got to try out.
You got to try out every year. So it doesn't, like, so now that makes me have to stay on my game.
Sure.
Understanding that the young guys are getting younger and faster, and I'm only getting older. So I
want to talk about your workout regimen, because I watched the podcast on the Light podcast. Because I'd like to, if you would, I need to go back to when you were born.
Yeah.
And I can't get this in my head what it would have been like for you. Not having any legs was normal when you were born, and and you had 7 brothers and sisters?
So there were 7 of us total, and I'm like dead smack in the middle.
Right.
And I think because we're in a athletic household, like my youngest brother, he's like 6'1", my oldest brother 6'2", so I come from like a big family. My wingspan's like 6'9". So like
that's the first time I noticed that.
So like you can imagine like the competition in the family is just like it's ruthless.
So what was that like? There, we got a brother. He's got no legs.
Yeah. So like any other relationship that you know, like brother or sister, I don't know if you have a sibling, but it is the exact same.
Okay.
Like I didn't see difference until like I was like out and about in the community. Like that's when I saw the biggest difference. And like that was the thing that like was the most frustrating.
And you had to deal with that and overcome that.
Right.
But your siblings had toughened you up.
Most definitely. But they're also the ones that'll beat me up in the house, but be the #1 protector. So like, and of course, like it was no different for me. I had younger siblings that I was like, hey, I'm the big brother here, so this is my territory now. So like that's the dynamic is the same exact. They didn't treat me any different, and I think that's what made my skin thick enough to be able to play this sport at a high level.
So you went to school, and you did have people that maybe tried to bully you or speak badly about you or call you names or whatever.
Yeah. So I mean, because I'm different, right? Like people look at me like I'm different, and like they don't understand, right? They didn't like, oh, well, you can't run, you can't dunk, and I'm like, no, but I can walk on my hands in a handstand, through all of this.
And I bet you they understand what that is.
Yeah. Quick break. Coming back more with Trevon Jenifer. So stick around on the Altcast. Wizards trail the Spurs by 2 as we continue on the Altcast. And earlier this season, our first guest and a most impressive fellow is Trevon Jenifer, who is a 3-time gold medal winning Paralympic wheelchair basketball star. And earlier this season, the Wizards honored him with a jersey and with the gold medal, which we have here in the studio as well, which is also the first time I've ever held a gold medal. And it's pretty damn heavy, I can tell you that, and it's pretty cool. We were talking about your youth and growing up the way you have, which just mesmerizes me, how you've done the things you've done. And you still, to this day, as you mentioned, you got to stay in shape and work out.
Absolutely.
I saw you on the podcast, your day, and you've got a couple of kids and a wife that you met in college.
Yeah.
At Edinburgh in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
You got a full day, apparently. I can't imagine what it's like.
Absolutely. You sound like a PI right now.
He ran it down, boy.
So in a Paralympic year, like training regimen, it gets like really strict. So we're looking at wake up in the morning, get the kids ready. You know, I still work a full-time job because
that's the other thing. He's with the Secret Service. Doing what is your title with
Personnel security specialist.
Okay, and your wife does the same thing.
Busier than ever these days, I would imagine.
It's very busy these days. So now it doesn't pay as much as people think that like we do this for the money. It's definitely not.
Well, people think it's for the glamour. I think.
Oh, it's not that either. Right? You know what it is? It's you're putting in all this time and effort. Right. The number one question I get is like, how does it feel once you win? And it's like you can't explain it because each year you try out. Each year you put in all this time and energy and nothing is guaranteed. So the moment that you win, you get that medal around your neck and then you see your flag go up and you hear that national anthem, like you get sucked into the moment and you realize that it's not just you, it's the letters across the chest.
It's got to be.
That's powerful.
It's an honor.
Yeah,
it's
you got to raise the hair on the back of your neck. So your day is a full day. You're working out. You're going to the gym early.
Yep.
What is that like for you?
So get the kids off school, then I turn around and I work, pick the kids up. They'll go to their sports, and while they're at their sports, that's when I'll go hit the gym. Mm-hmm. I'll try to get up shots. At the place that I work out at, I can get up 300 shots in 30 minutes. Right. So like if I can get an hour in, perfect.
You doing it by yourself? Somebody rebounded for you.
So it's actually the gun machine. Yeah. It's the gun
when he
machine.
Said 30 minutes, I said,
there's no way. Right.
No way.
The coaching and he's like, all right, somebody's rebounding. Okay,
just use the gun.
The gun and you're in there and you're just firing it off, and then so I get a quick hour shoot in, get the kids, pick them up from their events, come home, spend time with the family, spend time with the wife, and then after we do that, everyone's to bed. I'm back in the basement doing weight training and conditioning.
And you say you're the best player in the region, but you have to do. By the way, we got to talk about the game a little bit. He thinks Victor's already should be like the best player in the world ever. I don't.
No.
See,
you see how you do that in there?
You see that shot
he just hit?
Are you kidding me? That was ridiculous.
Yo, come on, man.
What was that?
Spoken like a true Maryland Terrapin right now.
That was ridiculous, man. I don't know how he hit that shot.
I know, that's crazy.
Do you follow the NBA? We obviously had the Wizards back in Boston. He's a D.C. guy. He grew up with covering the Bullets when they won it in 78 and 79. What's your affinity for the NBA?
So I love the NBA. I am a LeBron James fan.
Let me interrupt you 1 second because we took a timeout, so we're going to a break. San Antonio's already up to a 13-point lead. We'll be right back.
Hey.
You're tuned into the Altcast on the Monumental Sports Network. The Wizards down actually by 16 now because they gave them another three-point play. Wemby is 4 for 5 from the field. He hit 3 consecutive three-point shots, as you saw, and now they're up 26-10. But we're talking to Trevon Jenifer, who's from La Plata, Maryland, 3-time gold medal winning wheelchair basketball star. Where did we leave off?
We want to know about your NBA, like just. Forget this, just as a fan like all of us, whether it's a Lakers trade or should the Spurs take Fox and make the next step. We know the Wizards are like young. In other words, are you following the NBA like we are? Are you an NBA fan?
So I'm a basketball like I love basketball, so I can sit here and watch it But the thing is like I don't watch what everyone else watches. Everyone else will watch the game and they'll look at the person that has the ball, the point guard, right? Like for me, it's about everything that's going on behind the scenes to get the ball in the rotate. Yeah, like that's the thing about it. Like how these things happen that intrigues me in the sport of basketball.
Yeah, I'm really interested. We're watching De'Aaron Fox. And it's interesting to me with these trades, every team is kind of going back to the history of how they build successful teams.
Yeah.
The Lakers are always trades free agency. And it has to be a marquee name.
Look, you're old enough to remember. It's been showtime since Magic went there.
It's whoever LeBron wants. You know, when he was in Cleveland, he wanted Tristan Thompson to re-signed because he could get rebounds. So they paid him huge money. He wanted guys to come. When it's LeBron, it's whoever he wants.
But he said he was surprised about the trade.
I mean, I think it sounded like he was surprised. He was just talking about post-game.
I just think you have to look. All right, he's got to lose 20 pounds. So do I. So me and we're at the same time.
You got to lose about 30.
About 30 maybe. But look, you can say what you want about Luka. They were the 5th seed. He carried him to the finals. Like, I like AD, but he's not going to carry you. So I thought for the Lakers, it's just you have to have a star in LA. And
LA
you're a LeBron
guy. You got to have a star.
I felt like they were planning for the future. Yeah. I know that they're like, LeBron has 1 year, maybe 2 max left. So they're like, what are we going to be looking like in a couple years? And that's when they were like, we're going to take a shot at Luka. And Dallas is like, they're at their wits' end with Luka, it seemed like. So they're like, okay, well, then let's make this trade work. So I think Luka in LA is good. I just don't know how it fits with them.
Oh, come on, man.
That's another one.
This guy's sick.
Come on, Jimmy. Stop playing, Jimmy.
Look, I think he's done everything he's supposed to, but you have to win. You've got 3 medals.
He's up 20 in the first quarter.
I like your bronze, but I prefer those 3.
I feel the same way.
We were talking about Bird, Magic to Isaiah
Thomas. 14 points.
It's all about Michael Jordan because he won, left, and came back and won again. Like when you win that much, you become the greatest. Kareem doesn't get enough. Can Victor win?
Well, he's pretty young in his career, so he got ways to go.
Vic has a silver medal.
He does, but they haven't made the playoffs yet. Now, they got De'Aaron Fox, which was huge.
You think they'll make it this year?
What I'm thinking is, look, I was going to ask you, Chris. You've been around this more than, you played with NBA players. I coached them, but to me, either teams are going for it completely and putting all their chips in, like the Spurs, or they're completely going like us and saying later. And that's going to be interesting in 2 or 3 years.
Well, and especially with the Wizards, because they're making moves for the future.
The Cavs just gave everything away to get DeAndre Hunter, but if they can win it now. You just talked about winning it all.
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest thing for me is
said it felt a little more special with the gold. Right?
It definitely does. It definitely does. It's different when you win bronze, but you dominate gold. I think that's the difference between the two.
And that's what some of these guys are looking for. Yeah. Except the Knicks, who just don't have any bench and won't do. He seems to be stubborn. The Bucks traded for Lillard. Now they make a trade for Kuz.
We know Tibbs plays 6 guys only the whole season.
Work
that's what he does though. That's his blueprint. He's played 6 guys.
But it's just interesting to see who wants to win now. And I think the Spurs
OKC is trying to win now.
They are.
But how did they get there? I think that's what people are trying to mimic, right? Through the draft, they're a young team through the draft. I think the days of the big 3 are starting to go away because they're thinking that we can put these 3 guys together and then it's going to be a good organization. It's not like that. You got to make sure the 3 guys fit together because someone's going to have to sacrifice.
Which you do when you said when you play local, you're firing away. Yeah. When you go to that level, real quick, the guy you mentioned who was the greatest player from Canada. Was he like a LeBron type or a Victor? Was he a bigger player?
MJ.
So he's tall. He's tall, but he's quick and nimble.
So he's a little of everything.
Oh, he's got it all. Patrick Anderson.
This a wheelchair guy you're talking about?
Yes.
When you say tall, obviously torso.
Yeah. Yes, his torso. And he sits high. And when I'm in my ball chair, I can't touch him.
Really?
I'm nowhere close to touching him. And he's just as fast and quick, and he can shoot range out 3-point line. Yeah.
I want to go back to high school because you wrestled in high school against guys with legs.
Yeah.
Let me read what your coach said. His coach is Terry Green, wrestling coach at Huntingtown High School, which is in Calvert County. He said, coaches usually have several motivational roster posters on the wall. They have to do with attitude, no excuses, wimps need not apply. He said, I had a wrestler in Trevon Jenifer who stood about 2 feet 11 inches tall, and he made these posters look like a joke. That's what he said about you. What goes in your head when you're getting ready to face a guy who's not who's has a full body.
Yeah. I want to say he definitely shortchanged me on my height there. I'm definitely a little taller than that.
Still taller than 2 feet 11.
2 feet 11. No, but you know what it is? It's like I think about when I was with my siblings. It's no different when I'm wrestling around with them.
Right.
Like I had to use what I had to my advantage to win because they weren't going to let me, and neither did these wrestlers when I was in high school.
Right.
And our first go around, it was kind of tough. We went 17-18 my junior year, but my senior year we worked on our craft. I hit the weight room, and we went 32-8, and ended up being third in the state of Maryland in my weight class. Yeah.
And what is that like, physically working with a guy who's got legs, and you're not in a wheelchair. You're on the ground.
On the ground.
That's it. What's that like?
Oh, I mean, it's pummeling because like you're like working with someone out of your weight class because we didn't have too many 103s in my weight class at that time.
Right.
So like to have him be able to go up against someone that's above my weight class, like now you're like trying to use your moves, but this guy's heavier than you are.
Okay.
But you're learning different techniques, how to use someone else's weight, right? That I'm not used to against them, right? Using my speed and things of that nature. So I think that's the main.
And I'm guessing you know, in what your physical shape is, you know little tricks of the trade that you can use.
Yeah. So the awesome thing is when you stand up, you try to wrestle me standing up on your 2 feet, right? Your ankles, right?
You're already down. You're there.
Yeah, I'm already down. So it's just grab an ankle, try to throw them over. Now, when some of them got down, and they got down on their knees, and they wanted to wrestle me low. So at that point, now you're slower.
Right.
So now I'm using my speed. So like that's when it's like you understand the game, understand what you're trying to do, and I'm a competitor, man. All I want to do is win.
I've heard you mention your siblings a couple times. They clearly made you a competitor.
Oh yeah,
your brothers and sisters.
Oh, absolutely. We still compete to this day. They think they're the better athlete than me, and I'm like,
You've got an autobiography from the ground up, which I'd like to see that. I haven't been able to see that yet. What's in this future for you immediate? Obviously, you're still playing. There was a guy that was 46 years old playing wheelchair basketball. You're 36, so you're still going.
Yeah, well, we're taking a break from Paris because of COVID, like, it pushed all of our major tournaments up a year.
Because just like everything else, basketball and soccer, it's Olympics every 4, but the World Championships are in the middle, correct?
Yeah, and those are used to qualify your zone for the Paralympics and stuff of that nature. So it's just, that was crazy.
Yeah, I was about to say, they're making a run right now.
Are they making a run?
Yeah, down 7.
Vucevic. There you go, another Vitch.
All the Vitches.
Well, he's gonna. So
all the Vitches are from Serbia.
So it's every year, but every 2 years is really the major tournament.
Absolutely, yeah. That's where you get your butter, where you cut your teeth at.
Well, listen, man, we appreciate you coming down here. You're an inspiration, dude.
Thank you.
You really are. I tell
awesome.
you what, we could talk for hours, but you are special.
Thank you.
Thank you for just doing what you do and being so good.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I love you for the love of the
awesome.
hoops and everything. We'll be in close contact.
Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you.
Trevon Jenifer, who's just a special person, as you can see. So the Wizards are making a little bit of a run. They've cut it to 10, hosting Victor and the Spurs, and the Altcast continues right after this.